again, 2 people have been killed in a shooting in the Durban suburb of Springfield Park. A child has been rushed to hospital. A reporter, Litiwe Mdluli, is at the scene right now and joins us to tell us exactly what happened there. Good afternoon, Litiwe. What happened?
Well, at the moment, we're still trying to gather information as to what happened. But what we do know from the police is that 2 people have been shot dead. We understand that it was a drive-by shooting that took place. I'm just going to step out of shots and show you exactly what is currently happening. There are police at the scene. And we've seen also family members arriving. Of course, they're very distraught to speak to us right now. But this incident took place on Peters Road in Springfield. And we do understand that a teenager has been rushed to the hospital and is currently in a critical condition. As you can see, the police are currently scouting the area and basically just forensic teams on the ground as well. They are currently doing investigations. I will also want to bring in the police spokesperson here in KwaZulu-Natal, Robert Nechiwunda, who's going to tell us more about what took place here. Robert, thank you so much for joining us at ENCA. Take us through what you know currently. We know that this incident just happened a short while ago, about 2:30 in the afternoon.
What we have established at this stage is that it was an apparent drive-by shooting. The matter is alleged to be drug-related because the man who's been shot here, it shows that he's been on the Hawks radar for some time on drug-related cases. It's alleged to be one of the drug lords in Chatsworth. That needs to be verified, of course, but that's what we have for now. And his wife was with him, is fatally shot as well, and a 9-year-old daughter has been rushed to hospital with injuries.
Do we right now know of where the people that shot this couple is? Have you made any arrests? Give us more information in that sense.
We haven't made the arrest as yet. We are in pursuit of the suspects. We have members already who are trying to trace the vehicle that has been spotted with the shooters. We believe that maybe they will be able to catch up with them and bring them to justice.
And I understand that there's another scene in town, in Durban, that is currently active. We do understand that 2 taxi owners have been shot dead. Take us through that incident as well.
Yes, we can confirm that 2 taxi owners, 25 years and 38 years old, were shot and killed in Durban on Carter Road this afternoon. What we have for now is that the 2 had just had lunch next to one of their taxis when a gunman came, parked the car next to them, fired shots. One of the taxi drivers attempted to shoot back, but the shooters managed to kill him before he could retaliate. We don't know the motive yet, but with the ongoing taxi violence in the province, this could be linked.
It's a very, very interesting and shocking incident that took place. The fact that there's 2 incidents that took place a short while ago where 4 people overall have been killed is kind of concerning, especially because we've been talking about the gun violence in this province. What are some of your concerns in terms of people in these drive-by shootings? Just last week I was doing a story that was focusing on the hits and also the drive-by shootings that are taking place in this province. As the police, do you think that you're losing your fight against crime in this province?
We are not losing the fight in the province. A few days ago, we arrested 5 hitmen armed with rifles through a tip-off from a committee member. If committee members continue to try and get rid of firearms, because this is happening because there's too many illegal firearms in the wrong hands out there, and as the police we need to recover those firearms. We are not losing the fight. We do arrest people for cases like these ones. We believe that even these 2 will make a breakthrough because a taxi violence team is already dispatched on that other one, and on this one the Hawks are already on the ground to deal with this one. So we have the grip, but with drug cases somebody knows something, but they choose to keep the information to themselves. I was at the first scene you referred to of the taxi owners were shot. I personally spoke to some of the taxi owners who were there. They said to me that we can't say anything, because otherwise it will be next. So if nobody is prepared to say anything to the police, it becomes a bit difficult for us. But we are well capacitated to have our own way of finding the truth through investigations and intelligence. So we will do our best, as we're supposed to try and get to the bottom of these matters. It's a concern for the police to be attending to crime scenes, violent crime scenes, day in and day out. Not 1 or 2, 3 or 4, 5 people died. It's a concern. We have teams that are dispatched already to work on these matters, and we're hopeful that we'll crack them.
And Kenna, we were just speaking a bit earlier on about the missing baby in Chatsworth. In that case as well, no one has been arrested. Just take us through some of the things that the police are doing to make sure that that case is investigated and that baby is brought back to its family, because I was speaking to the mother a bit earlier on. She's very concerned. It's been over a week and she hasn't seen her child. She's very frustrated with the police. Just take us through your investigations with that matter as well. It's a separate issue, but it's something that we're also working on with you, just basically wanting more information as to what happened to that baby.
We don't know what happened to the baby. All we know is that the baby was snatched during an apparent house robbery. We have dispatched a team of experienced FCS investigators from the province who will lead the investigations. We believe that with them involved leading a team of investigators, we'll get to the bottom of the matter. We are in contact with the family. We're speaking to them. Those who were there when the crime happened, because we need to put pieces together as to why only take a child and a phone. There was something that would be of monetary value, but somebody snatches a 2-month-old baby. We are concerned of the well-being of the baby. That's why we have ascribed the matter to provincial level, so that we do our best to bring the baby alive.
Thank you so much, Kenya.
You're welcome.
Well, as you've heard it, there's 2 people that have been killed on Peters Road in Springfield, and the police are currently doing those investigations. And just not so far from here in Durban, in the Berea area, there's 2 taxi owners who have been shot dead as well. These incidents took place within a few hours, and the police are saying that they're very concerned about the guns that are on the streets, and they are working tirelessly to make sure that some people will be arrested for these incidents.
Yeah, so Letiwe, just to clarify, in the incident where you were at Springfield, I had Robert, the police officer, saying that 2 people died and an alleged drug lord from Chatsworth has been killed.
Yes. Yes, of course, Braden, and he is saying also that the Hawks are on this matter. He's saying that they've been, or that the person that has been killed here has been allegedly on their radar for some time. For now, it is speculation, and they are saying that they will be investigating to confirm these reports. But of course, it is alleged that this person who has been killed here is a drug lord, and he was killed along with his wife. And currently, a 9-year-old child is in hospital. We do believe that the child was caught in the crossfire, and she was shot in the head. But of course, we will be confirming more with the police just to bring you an update on the story.
Okay, now any more clarity about the 2 taxi owners? Is this related to any recent taxi violence or tensions in the taxi industry at Tegwini?
Well, but then just to mention, last week I actually covered a story where I was focusing on the drive-by shootings or hits that have been taking place in Durban currently. Last week we did understand that 3 shootings happened on 3 consecutive days, and the shooting that happened last week on Monday was also taxi-related. We do understand that unknown gunmen approached a vehicle in Berea as well, and they shot at that vehicle, and 2 men died at that scene, 1 person surviving, and we do understand that in that incident, it was taxi related. This one as well, it's happened in Pereira area, around the same area where the other shooting took place. And we do understand right now that those 2 men were also taxi owners. There's a lot of incidents of taxi owners being gunned down where they are targeted, and we've been speaking to the police about these hits, and they are saying that they're investigating. Unfortunately, in majority of these incidents, no one has been arrested. We keep hearing that there's investigations that are ongoing, and it does seem as if there is a bit of something brewing within the taxi industry, especially within the Durban CBD, because all these incidents are taking place within the same area, the Pereira area.
Okay, thank you very much, Letiwe Mdluli. This hour, just updating us on the latest shooting there in Springfield in Durban. 2 people killed. Allegedly, one of them is a drug lord from Chatsworth, and his wife also shot and killed. A 9-year-old child is in hospital fighting for her life. In an earlier incident, just not far from there, 2 taxi owners were also gunned down this afternoon, meaning in total, 4 people have now been shot dead just this afternoon in Durban.
Outside the Indian High Commission in the college, and the reason we are here is to support India. And one of the sadness is that a few days back the Indian flag was taken out, and because the flag was taken out, and the harassment of the staff at the Indian High Commission is intolerable. And we urge the British, as a British citizen, I urge the British parliamentarians to act immediately and bring some sort of sanity to these problems, because this cannot continue. You can't build a relation with a nation and then expect that embassies are treated in this manner.
Ngo is the governor of Siaya County and one of the top leaders in Azimio. He joins us now to look at the demands by the Azimio leadership. Good evening, Your Excellency. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening.
Now, these 5 demands that were read today by Raila Odinga. 1, cost of living, electoral justice, inclusive government, sacking of civil servants. And he says the demonstrations shall continue until all these are addressed. First question, how do we know they've been addressed?
Well, I've been, there are simple questions to answer, like the one on electoral justice. In opening the service, And if you read Article Section 44 of the Elections Act, it's quite clear that there's a process for auditing elections during and even after elections. So in order to address that issue, you cannot sit on a table and discuss it. I think the most realistic way to address it is to open the servers, because under Section 44 of the Elections Act, there's a procedure there that would enable us, go through that process. Now, secondly,
so what you want here is just a post-election audit of the process.
It's a post-election audit, but which will give accountability. Mm-hmm. The Elections Act was framed in such a way that one would be able to test the transparency of an election and be accountable to the people of Kenya that the results of that election protects and defends their sovereignty. And Section 44 is very meticulous and giving access to servers, to stakeholders, and more particularly the political parties.
Your Excellency, why this fixation with the server? Why not ask for the physical ballot, for the physical Forms 34B, which are what was used by the Electoral Commission to tally the results?
Let me tell you, it's so easy to interfere with the paper documents. That is so easy. And, during the past regime of elections, interference with even election returns when they were in a paper form, in between a polling station and the counting center, or even at the national tallying center, all through those stages is so easy to interfere with paper documents. But the transactions that are recorded in servers, real time, to erase it would be absolutely impossible and difficult. And you remember during the election petition of 2017, when we wanted the servers to be opened, somebody remarked in court, that the people in France were asleep, so we could not have access to it. But I can tell you that record, even now, because the law requires that those records are kept for a while, if they were open today, and the courts have said time and time again that anybody who has won an election should not be afraid for an inspection of that return of the elections. So I do not understand why President Ruto would fear examination of not only the election returns, but more particularly the electronic returns and the record of that election.
You asked for the same at the Supreme Court. You're one of the lawyers representing the petitioners.
Yes.
You were granted access to the server.
No, we are not granted access to the server. It was a very limited access. During the process of an election petition, the number of days that you're required to file, and there's an answer, and the trial, and the verdict, within 14 days is very difficult. But I think the court, the Supreme Court, has let the people of Kenya down because every time, even in 2017, they gave us only a limited access to the servers. One of the things that means then that, the only way you can question an election properly in Kenya is by looking at the process, but not looking at, the actual result of that election, the details. Because that would take time, but because we are digital in respect of, transmission of election results, that should not be very difficult.
Let's move to the next issue, still on the issue of electoral justice. You're demanding the reinstatement.
Ambao na ni viongozi ambao wangependa ama ambao wananuia kuongoza maandamano haya. Namuona Babu Owino miongoni mwa viongozi wengine wa Azimio ambao wameweza kufika hapa. Namuona seneta wa Nairobi pamoja na viongozi wengine wa Azimio. Sasa hivi polisi wanarusha vitoza machozi kuwatawanya viongozi hawa ambao walikuwa wananuia kufika kukutana na waandamanaji ili kuweza kuwaongoza kufika katika eneo la KICC. Mtazamaji, eneo ambalo kiongozi wa Azimio Raila Odinga anatarajiwa kufika ili kuwaelekeza waandamanaji katika ama kuweza kuwapa hatua nyinginezo. na ni viongozi ambao wangependa ama ambao wananuia kuongoza maandamano haya. Namuona Babu Owino miongoni mwa viongozi wengine wa Azimio ambao wameweza kufika hapa. Namuona seneta wa Nairobi pamoja na viongozi wengine wa Azimio. Sasa hivi polisi wanarusha vitoza machozi kuwatawanya viongozi hawa ambao walikuwa wananuia kufika kukutana na waandamanaji ili kuweza kuwaongoza kufika katika eneo la KICC, mtazamaji, eneo ambalo kiongozi wa Azimio Raila Odinga anatarajiwa kufika ili kuwaelekeza waandamanaji katika ama kuweza kuwapa hatua nyinginezo.